What's up, guys? This is Ian, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our aABL Season 4 Week 9 Team Builder. This week we are taking on EchoReaver or Brady and his Denver Rapidash. This is our final out-of-conference game for the season. The season is only 10 weeks long. We're actually quite near the end of the season. We only have 2 weeks left to play. You'll notice that Brady's record doesn't necessarily show all of his matches, but I wanted to film this team builder while I had the chance and while I had at least a somewhat accurate of a record for him. He does still have to play Dan or aDrive, so that match is still up in the air. Not that it matters for us because we're going to play the same way. But yeah, so that's kind of why he only has 7 matches played and we have 8 matches played. This is an extremely important game for us before I start talking about his team and all of that. I need to win this game 100% to keep alive in the playoff race. And even if I win, I still may not be in the playoff race. So we'll sort of see where this goes and how the rest of the matches play out. I believe that it is not up to me anymore. I'm currently sitting in 6th place in the conference, and Shiny Krabby is one above me who ended up beating me, if you'll all remember. He does have to play Ben, so I'm sort of hoping that Ben can beat him for me so that I can at least have an even record with him heading into this week, because I think that gives me a little bit of a better chance. I'm not sure who his opponents are. He actually plays, he has to play Dan this week, and then he has to play Jay, who's also another one of my friends and who I'm confident that can beat him. Unfortunately, we have to play Jake and the Boston Bronzongs, who are currently undefeated. I believe they are 8-0. So that is extremely scary for me. I'm not really excited to play Jake. I'm a little bit excited to sort of like throw the king off of his throne, but at the same time, I'm not really that excited about the outcome of that, because I think that he's going to want to come into that game, depending on if he loses week 9 or not. I think he's going to want to come into that game. He's already clinched first place, by the way. There's no other team that can get first place in the conference besides him. But I'm scared that he's going to want to go for an undefeated season, and so it's maybe not going to be as, I don't know. I think it's going to be a really clutch match for him against me. So, yeah. Anyways, let's talk about Echo's team. So, he has Clefable, Toxapex, Hoopa, regular form, which is a Z user, Mienshao, which is a Z user, Miltank, Durant, Glaceon, Mega Charizard X, Serperior, Mandibuzz, Vikavolt, and Arbok, which is a Z user. He has priority in Mienshao with Fake Out, Hazard Setting in Clefable with Stealth Rock, Toxapex with T-Spikes, and Miltank with Stealth Rock. Removal options in Charizard X with Defog, Serperior with Defog, and Mandibuzz with Defog, and he has 3 4x weaknesses. Hoopa has 2 in Ghost and Dark, and Durant has 1 in Fire. I've made a little note for myself here that his only Trick Room setter on the team is Hoopa, and if Hoopa and Vikavolt come together, I should expect a Trick Room combo. This is actually exactly what happened in his match against Dom today. He ended up bringing Hoopa and Vikavolt. Hoopa was like a weird Buginium Z, and Vikavolt came as well, and Hoopa actually ended up having Trick Room in that game. So, let's start talking about what I'm expecting. I'm expecting Clefable Toxapex for sure. That core is just so disgustingly fat. I don't think Hoopa's coming. Hoopa doesn't make a lot of sense against double dark types, and it's too slow to combat my team. If you didn't know, we picked up Swellow for a Selgor, so whatever. We dropped a little bit of speed, but now we have a more offensive threat. I actually didn't think that Swellow had that great of a matchup this week. I thought maybe a physical Swellow could be okay, but Miltank still kind of just sat in front of it. Clefable kind of just sat in front of it. Toxapex kind of just sat in front of it. So a little bit scared of that. Mienshao, I'm kind of iffy on if it comes or not. I'm not entirely sold on Mienshao coming. Mega Gardevoir is such a good switch into it, and he kind of like has to be Scarf to deal with a lot of my team. And it doesn't get Earthquake, so Nidoking kind of just destroys it as well. Like, I don't know. I feel like Mienshao is kind of a maybe for me. Dusclops seems like a reasonable bring against his team as well, so I'm not entirely sold on him bringing Mienshao. Miltank I think is coming. Durant I don't see coming necessarily. Skarmory kind of just hard walls it. Rotom-Wash kind of hard walls it. He doesn't really have a good way to set up against my, like, he could run Hone Claws, but I don't think that it makes a lot of sense against my team necessarily. Glaceon I don't see coming. Glaceon is not fantastic against my team. In some matchups it can be okay, but I don't think it's that great against my team. I could be entirely wrong and it's like fantastic against my team, but just on paper I just didn't see it coming. It's a little bit slow as well. Maybe if he's bringing Trick Room. I think Mega Charizard X is coming. I think that thing is a monster, and of course it's going to come. Rotom-Wash is not going to stop Mega Charizard X, so that's kind of there. Superior, I think, makes a lot of sense. Oh, excuse me. To deal with the Rotom-Wash that could be coming, and is coming. Mandibuzz, I could see coming, could not see coming. I don't know if it makes that much sense against my team. Rotom-Wash is already going to destroy Toxapex. I don't know if he wants another wall getting destroyed by Rotom-Wash. I'm not entirely sure if he wants that. Vikavolt I could see coming. I think it's got a pretty decent matchup against me. It's a good way to deal with Skarmory, something that Toxapex Clefable can't really do. And Arbok is just, I don't know. Arbok's not a very good mon, and I don't really see it coming to this game. So, let's start with my team. We are starting with Skarmory, our ACA, bringing leftovers with Stealth Rock, Whirlwind, Roost, and Brave Bird. Kind of a standard-ish, well, it's standard. This is a very standard Skarmory. Rocks are really good against this team. Just for, if not for just chipping down Charizard, I'm actually predicting him to lead Charizard because he'll see the Skarmory. And so I'm going to lead my Rotom, but that's kind of what's going on there. Or maybe I'll lead Incineroar actually, just to intimidate it turn 1. Whirlwind is for the Charizard. I don't want that thing setting up, and I've got Sturdy plus Whirlwind. There's a lot of things I can roost on after that. I'm faster than things like Toxapex, I'm faster than things like Clefable, faster than things like No Speed Hoopa, faster than things like Vikavolt, things like Glaceon. And if I roost on Vikavolt, then his Thunderbolt's doing less damage as well, so that's kind of okay there as well. So yeah, lots of walls that I can roost on with Skarmory, and I've got Brave Bird on there to deal with a ton of damage. Honestly, Skarmory is like kind of one of my ways to deal with Superior as well, and Brave Bird is the best way to deal with that. Otherwise, I'll be running Iron Head for the Clefable. We're running a max physically defensive set to take on the Charizard the best that I can, and I'm running a tiny bit of speed just to outrun No Speed Hoopa. I don't care if he's Hoopa and Trick Room because Skarmory can't really deal with Hoopa that way anyways, but if he's bringing in Hoopa and he's no speed, then I can Brave Bird it and kill it. So, that, well, to an extent, but Hoopa doesn't have great physical defense, and that's kind of what I'm playing off of. Next up, we've got Rotom-Wash. We're running a Specs Rotom-Wash. Echo does not have a ground type whatsoever. His electric resists are Superior, Mega Charizard X when it's in Mega form, and Vikavolt. In return, he has weakness in Mandibuzz and Toxapex, and I kind of want to play off that. Vikavolt does not have Recovery, Superior can get Synthesis, and Charizard can get Roost. I don't know if Roost makes a lot of sense. I do feel like he needs the coverage options with Dragon Dance or a Belly Drum set to beat my team. By all means, he could be a defensive variant of Mega Charizard X. I don't think that makes a ton of sense at all. I don't think that defensive Megazard X on his team ever makes sense because he drafted all of these walls. He needs Charizard as an offensive threat. So you can't really run like the Will-O-Wisp set against most teams when you're running Clefable, Toxapex, Miltank, Mandibuzz. Like that doesn't, you just don't have the space on your team for more offense, and you're basically playing stall at that point. So yeah, we're bringing Rotom with specs. I don't know. Like, again, I don't think he's bringing a defensive variant. And if he does bring a defensive variant, then it's even better for my team because Skarmory is freed up in so many other ways to tank Superior. Yeah, Volt Switch because I can just freely Volt Switch on his entire team. Hydro Pump, 2 shots. What was it going to 2-shot? Specs Hydro Pump actually 2 shots standard Superior. Not Subseed Superior, but standard Superior. Trick to trick Specs onto something like the Clefable or the Mandibuzz if I need to, or the Miltank probably is what I'm going to aim for there. Lock it in like Milk Drink or something, and Thunderbolt for the most possible damage. Specs Thunderbolt is going to blow back the Toxapex. Yeah, I think Toxapex would come, although it has a relatively poor matchup against my team, to be completely honest, because Minior can abuse it, Rotom-Wash can abuse it, Mega Gardevoir can abuse it, Nidoking can abuse it. So we'll see if Toxapex comes. I'm a little bit worried about it because I don't have the best ways to beat Stall with my team if he's going to go that route. I also don't have the best ways to deal with Toxic Spikes on my team, but we're bringing Ground and Poison type, as you can see with Nidoking up here. Yeah, so we're running a ton of speed on the Rotom-Wash, running modest speed though. I'm running enough speed to outrun max speed Hoopa. That was the most threatening thing that I could outspeed. I could have outsped Mandibuzz or Arbok, but running this much speed, I'm outspeeding no speed Mandibuzz already. And if he's like Adamant or Modest Mandibuzz, we're still outspeeding it, or Adamant or Modest Arbok as well, we're still outspeeding that. I don't see Arbok as a huge threat to my team. In general, I don't think Arbok is that good. I'm not entirely sure what it does. I know it gets like Earthquake, it's an Intimidate user. I know it's like a Coil setup sweeper, but it gets like Sucker Punch and... Oh, I totally forgot about that in priority. Arbok gets Sucker Punch, but it's not really that relevant. Yeah, so that's why we're running that speed. Max Special Attack Modest is going to hit pretty hard, and I put the rest into defense to tank Zard X a tiny bit better. Oh, excuse me. So next up is Incineroar. Originally I had Mega Gardevoir here, but changed it to Incineroar to deal with Serperior a little bit better. I felt like Mega Gardevoir could help out with Toxapex and Mandibuzz, but I already had enough kind of for that. So we're running Incineroar. U-turn, Flare Blitz, Darkest Lariat, Superpower, fairly standard for the most part. Flare Blitz is going to demolish something like the Serperior. Darkest Lariat is there mostly for the Hoopa, although I can hit through boosts on Clefable potentially. I don't know. I kind of just want to U-turn on Clefable because I have nothing to hit it. And Superpower is there for the Miltank because I think Miltank is going to be a problem. I think Miltank's going to be a huge problem for my team. The way that I built this team, Miltank kind of walls most of it, so I'm running Superpower just to be able to deal with that a little bit better. 248 HP to get an odd value for Stealth Rock friendly. Max attack Adamant. 4 in speed, I wanted to outrun Clefable by 1 point so I can U-turn out on it without necessarily tanking a hit. And I'm running 4 in Spidef, so that's to boost the power of Assault Vest by a tiny bit. I mean, technically it'll be doubled with the Assault Vest, so it'll be 8 EVs worth of, I don't know how that exactly works. Next up is Minior. This is a huge win con for us. Minior with the White Herb, Acrobatics, Shell Smash, Power Gem, and Earthquake. This set can outrun his entire team, and it can blow back a lot of stuff. We just need a little bit of chip on some things. I was initially planning to run Rocky MZ on this, but what ended up happening the last time I brought Minior when it tried to smash and sweep was I died after smashing because of the minus defense. So we're running White Herb. Yeah. I was thinking a fully special set would do work this week, but Acrobatics actually does a lot of work, and I was trying to do Acrobatics with the Z move, and I was like, well, it's not really going to work out with the Z move, because I need Acrobatics to kill things like Serperior and like Mienshao. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm doing that. Smash is obviously just my setup move. Power Gem destroys so much of his team. It's going to blow back Zard, it's going to blow back Mandibuzz, it's going to blow back Glaceon, Durant, it OHKOs, it's going to OHKO Vikavolt as well. Power Gem is just so freaking good against his team. Honestly, once I'm smashed up though, Acrobatics is going to do more to the Clefable, and depending on the Toxapex set, if it's Spidef or Defense, I can kind of switch up based on that. And then Earthquake is there primarily for the Toxapex, although it can be used for the Arbok as well if I need it to. Yeah, so that's kind of the Minior there. We're running 212 speed with Naughty, so we're running in a plus attack nature. The speed investment is there so that we can outspeed. I don't have it written down. I can't remember. 329. We're outspeeding Charizard X at +2. That's what it's there for. I need to write that down actually. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Yeah. So if Charizard boosts up to 2 Dragon Dances while we are smashing for some odd reason, or we manage to get the Shell Smash off while he's +2, which I don't think that would ever happen, but there was nothing that I really wanted to speed creep outside of that. I don't think speed creeping over Superior made a ton of sense for me, so I ended up going with just over Zardex. This outspeeds Jolly max speed Zardex, by the way, which I believe he would run to speed time Mega Gardevoir. So yeah, that's kind of what the speed's there for. I don't know if I explained it that super well. We're running Naughty because I think I would want to set up on... I don't know what I would want to set up on, but most likely a special attacker. So I'm actually running the minus Spidef nature to be able to get out of my shield's down form and get my speed. That's kind of the goal of running Naughty, is so maybe Toxapex Scald like puts me in range or something. It would really suck if it burnt, but besides that, it could be kind of big. Max attack Adamant and 44 in special attack. I wanted to get more out of Acrobatics and Earthquake because I'm running double physical, and so I don't need as much from Power Gem, and I actually calced the exact amount of special attack investment that it would require to OHKO, what was I OHKOing with it? Durant, and it's none. So I just put the rest, instead of it putting it in HP investment, I put it in special attack investment. Minior is the definition of a flat, of a glass cannon for me, and that's sort of, it's kind of just like throw your hopes and prayers into Minior and just hope that you can win. Next up's Nidoking. We're running a Scarf Nidoking. I actually ran some calcs and decided I didn't need Life Orb this week, despite his team being relatively slow. He has 5 things that are faster than Nidoking, and it's important for me to outrun all of them. Sludge Wave is there for the Clefable. Life Orb Sludge Wave would OHKO Clefable. I believe Scarf Sludge Wave OHKO's Clefable as well. Earth Power is there for things like the Toxapex, the Charizard. It's going Earth Power, even with Scarf, is going to OHKO the Durant, unless he's Assault Vest for some weird reason. It's also going to deal with the Arbok. He has to switch in Vikavolt on the Earth Power. I've got Ice Beam there specifically for the Mandibuzz, and that's basically it, because Sludge Wave is going to demolish the Superior. I cannot really deal with Miltank with this. I'm not really going to two-shot a Spidef variant, but if he's Fizdef, I will two-shot a Fizdef variant with Sludge Wave. I've got Sucker Punch on there in a last-ditch effort if I need it for the Zard, if I need it for the Serp, if I need it for anything, Sucker Punch is there. It also, Sucker Punch blows Hoopa back even Timid. We're running Timid 216. This lets us outrun, what am I outrunning? Arbok. We're outspeeding max speed Arbok. If he decides to bring max speed Arbok for some weird reason, that's what we're outspeeding. Max special attack investment and a little bit of HP. And last but not least is Weavile. I'm bringing Weavile to be able to deal with Hoopa a little bit. I can switch in on both of Hoopa's stabs, and Hoopa dies to Weavile. Like, that's it. He really has to be scared of Pursuit. I think he would stay in, and if he's Scarf, then that could be really bad. If he's Specs, then it's whatever, right? I don't think Shadow Ball is, like, he can't really... Okay, the thing is that Hoopa can't click Psychic against my team pretty much ever as long as one of my Dark types are alive, and I'm bringing both of my Dark types because I'm a little bit scared of Hoopa. Its damage output is kind of insane, and it can, like, a Specs variant can deal with Mega Gardevoir, kind of, although he really has to be scared of Mega Gardevoir killing it with Shadow Ball, but that's kind of where it is. This is a really cool set that was suggested to me by Jay. Ground EMZ Dig with SD, so at +2, Ground EMZ Dig will OHKO Toxapex, which is one of the biggest walls threatening my team. It will also destroy Charizard X, but I really have to be careful about running it with Vikavolt and Mandibuzz around. That's kind of the biggest problem to me. Superior doesn't want to switch in on Weavile, so I'm not scared about him going into a ground resist, but I'm scared about him going into a ground immunity. Vikavolt could possibly come in. Mandibuzz, again, I don't think he would switch Mandibuzz in on Weavile just because of my ice typing. It kind of threatens it out. We've got the Icicle Crash on there for things like the Mandibuzz. I could potentially flinch down the Mega Charizard X if I need to. You know, Superior is going to get blown back by Icicle Crash. Same with Clefable. I can kind of flinch it down with Icicle Crash. It's really just good stab. It's going to destroy things like Durant for the most part. It's going to destroy things like Mienshao. Mienshao, which I'm very scared of for Weavile. I think Mienshao, if it comes, is going to be Scarfed to outrun things like Weavile, like Swellow, and like Minior. Although a +2 Minior can outrun Mienshao, obviously. Knockoff's there for the Hoopa, but it's also fantastic against his entire team. His one Dark Resist is Mandibuzz, I believe, and Mienshao. But and Clefable actually. He has 3 Dark Resist, now that I'm thinking about it. But getting items off of everything is super good, and weakening the Charizard for anything is fantastic. And honestly, if I can weaken the Vikable, I can honestly just click regular Dig on the Charizard, and if he's like setting up that turn, then he's screwed, because he's setting up and then he's wasting another turn to set up, and Dig is going to smack it in the face. We're running 160 speed Jolly, which lets us outrun Superior, max attack with the rest in HP. So that is the team. We are running actually a lot of speed investment. I believe everything has speed investment to outrun something in particular. Lots of cool sets. The Z Dig set is kind of cool. I've never actually used this before, but I've seen it used against Magearna. Scarf Nidoking is fairly standard, but Scarf Nidoking with Sucker Punch is definitely full counter team. I'm excited to use Minior in this sort of area. This is the most standard Incineroar set I've ever brought, and Specs Rotom I'm really hoping can put in some work, and Skarmory super standard. So that's kind of the summary. I really hope we can win this game so that we can stay alive in playoffs. It's not the biggest deal if we lose, because, well, if we lose, we're out of playoffs, guaranteed. But if we lose, then again, it's not the biggest deal. I think that we've had an okay season. The team hasn't necessarily been comfortable. I haven't been comfortable using the team, but if we lose, then we'll sort of meme it up a little bit against Jake in week 12. If we lose, 100% I am bringing Swellow, Girder, and Dusclops. 100% I'm bringing those against Jake. I don't care about winning the last match of the season if we lose, because we'll be out of playoffs. So that's kind of where it's at. Anyways, keep an eye out for this battle, and I will catch you guys later.